The difference between what we do and what we are capable of doing would suffice to solve most of the world's problems. That was said by Mohandas Gandhi. And it was Anne Frank who said how wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Surviving the Matrix. My name is Maxwell Igan, and I will be your host for the next hour. I'd like to start today's show by addressing a couple of situations that I believe need your urgent attention. One of them is the situation that is currently happening in Iceland. Now, Iceland, as many of you may know, may well be the first Western democracy to be forced into debt slavery, because the IMF has attempted to force the island of Iceland. This is an island of some 317,000 inhabitants. It's forcing these people into paying a £3.6 billion debt. Now, this debt equates to $86,000 per Icelandic family, and it has to be paid off at 5.5% interest for the next generation. And this debt has arisen from the collapse of a private multinational bank that collapsed during the financial crisis. Now, the issue is so serious that the entire nation is going to vote on this issue towards the end of February 2010. Now, on December 30th, 2009, Iceland's parliament actually passed a bill, which very narrowly passed, and this bill agreed to pay the terms set forth by the IMF, but the people of Iceland have the vote as to whether this is going to go through. Now, it seems that most of the people are standing up and saying, no, we're not going to pay this. And it's very important that the people of Iceland be internationally supported so they can feel safe on voting for this, and so they can see the support that the rest of the world has for these people. You've got to understand, folks, all the people out there who think, okay, Iceland, well, what's Iceland? Iceland's insignificant to me. Well, this is not the case, folks, because this is a testing ground for this corrupt monetary system. You've got to understand that this is a private bank that crashed, a private multinational bank, and the debt is being transferred to the people of Iceland. The people of Iceland are standing up and saying no to this corrupt monetary system, and they're saying, no, we're not going to pay this debt. We refuse to pay this debt because this whole thing is a privately run scam. Now, if the IMF gets away with doing this in Iceland, they will soon be turning their sights on the rest of the world. You need have no fear of that, my friends. So it's very important that we show support for this issue. I urge you all to go to thecrowhouse.com, click on the Save the People of Iceland link that you will see at the top of my homepage, and go and sign the petition to show your support for these people. Another thing that I want to mention here at the start of the show, speaking of petitions, is the petition that I have on my website to send in to Stephen Conroy, the Australian minister responsible for the subject of internet censorship. You need to download this petition, you need to print it out, you need to sign it, you need to send it to Stephen Conroy, or alternatively you can email a young lady by the name of Melissa, whose email address is on the petition page at thecrowhouse.com, and you can get details from her and you can mail her the petition. It's very important that you get on board with this petition, folks. I'd like to see people downloading this petition, printing up copies, and going up to their local community centres, their local shopping centres, and asking people to sign this petition. We need to get as many of these off to Stephen Conroy as possible. We've got a very short time to get the message to the government that we're simply not going to stand for internet censorship. So please download this petition and either print it out and sign it and send it off to the office of Stephen Conroy, or print it out, sign it, and contact Melissa, care of the Crow House. You'll find her email address there, posted on the petition page, and send it off to her so that she can coordinate sending a big pile of these things into the office of Stephen Conroy. Either way, it really does need to be done, folks. This is a very serious issue, and you need to act on this issue. Failure to act on this issue simply shows your agreement with the government in enacting mandatory internet censorship. And this is being done in a blatant attempt to stifle the truth, to stop the truth getting out to the masses, because the world is indeed waking up. I mean, there are a lot of these issues, folks, there really are. But you've got to understand that all of these things that happen, like the internet censorship here in Australia, the introduction of debt slavery in Iceland, all of these things are related. Because all of the governments of the world are related. All of the governments that are run by a central banking system, every country that has a central banking system, has a government that is puppeteered by the very same hand. So these are all simply separate corporations. All of these countries are simply separate corporations. They try things out in different countries. They'll be trying out this debt slavery in Iceland. If they can get it through, well, this is a little lesson on how to do this, and they'll continue it on with other countries. If they get the internet censorship through here in Australia, then they will continue this on through other countries as well. This is because the whole thing is puppeteered by the same hand. Our governments are an illusion, folks. The world is run by banking interests, and the whole war on terror is about imposing these banking interests on the rest of the world. That's what it's about. When you implement this type of monetary system onto a country, it gives you the ability to control that country. This is why they do that. But there are so many issues that we're faced with. There is now a group of ladies on the internet and on YouTube that are also speaking out against Monsanto. This is a very good thing as well, folks. You need to make a lot of noise about Monsanto. Interestingly, Monsanto corn has now been found to cause organ failure in rats. So that's a great thing, isn't it? This is the stuff they want you to eat, folks. These lovely pest-free crops that they want the farmers to plant. Pests won't eat them because if they do, they die of organ failure. That's a bit of a sign, don't you think, folks? Folks, you really do need to boycott all genetically modified food and absolutely anything to do with Monsanto, the wonderful company that brought us Agent Orange, which was responsible for so much damage in Asia and through Vietnam during the completely contrived Vietnam War. So yes, boycott Monsanto, folks. Please show your support for the people of Iceland, and please help get this petition off to Stephen Conroy to help prevent internet censorship in Australia. See, all this, folks, it all comes back down to that same issue that I always talk about, the fact that we are the system. All of the things that I've mentioned in the show today, these are all showing your refusal to comply to corruption. They are showing your refusal to be made into a slave. They are showing your refusal to be denied information and be denied the right to make up your own mind on whatever issue you should choose to investigate. This is all internet censorship is doing. It's not to protect people from pornography. All the pornography comes from very well established places, and there would not be that much pornography on the internet if the government didn't want it to be there. The internet is, after all, a government-controlled body, when all is said and done. A lot of people wish to find someone to blame in the entire crisis that humanity is facing. It's nice to have someone to blame. A lot of people are looking for solutions, but they're looking at everyone else to tell them, say, hey, you spell it out for me so that then it will just happen. Because if you spell it out, you provide the solution, you tell me what the solution is, and then it will just happen. Trying to get people to understand that the solution is through them not complying with the system. The solution lies with them, and what they do with their knowledge is one of the hardest nuts to crack. When you become aware of a lot of the things that I talk about on this radio show, when you become aware of the truth surrounding the 9/11 attacks, the truth surrounding the war on terror, the torture that happens with government approval in places like Abu Ghraib, in places like Guantanamo Bay, the depleted uranium that's been dropped all over the world, all of the things, folks, everything that is happening. When you see all of this before you and you simply keep the information to yourself and you sit there and wait for someone to present a solution to save the world, you're simply refusing to save it yourself. You need to understand that it is up to you to save it. It's up to what you choose to do with the information that you've got. Once you become aware of these things, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit home and brood about this? Or are you going to do something? Download the petitions. Get them signed. Download posters. I've got some posters posted on my website that just support the Crow House, that just suggest people go there and have a look. You can download the posters, print them up, and go and put them up on public notice boards and just send people to the Crow House.